Alright, what's up guys? I'm back with the next chapter of the Android 21 guide. As you can see on the title, this one's going to be going over team building, synergy around the character, and kind of like what assists enable her the most in the game of Dragon Ball FighterZ. And there's a lot of things to talk about in regards to like what position you should play her in, what teammates you should play her with. So I'll be going over a decent amount of stuff, and there might even be some sections where I go into a game and kind of show you guys what exactly I'm talking about if it's kind of a hard concept to latch onto. So let's just get right into it. So firstly, I want to express that, as I said before, I strongly believe that Android 21 is best played in the mid position. I think that is her strongest position now in season 3. I do think she is very strong anchor as well. In fact, my main team that you see here on the left, Bardock, Frieza, Android 21, I play her anchor on my main team. Even though I believe that she's strongest mid, I think that this team gives her a ton, and I play this team swapping out a lot between my characters because they're all very strong on point with the other 2 assists behind them. So I kind of play them as a very like go with the flow kind of team. I don't really care who's on point. I feel like I have good screen control, good neutral, no matter who I have on point and what assists I have behind me. And she makes for a very good anchor character as well. Has solo level 3 Oki, has mix-ups in the form of command grabs, all that stuff. So she can definitely be played in the anchor position, but like I said, most of the time whenever you're playing, when you're trying to build a team around her, you're going to want to find a strong point character and a strong anchor character because she is strongest mid, in my opinion. So what assists are you looking for with 21? Well, there's a lot of things to talk about here. So firstly, let's actually start with my main team. Whoops, not this one. That was the season 2 main team. This team. Okay, so why do I play Bardock Frieza 21? Well, the reason that I play Bardock Frieza 21 is because Bardock and Frieza A assists. So I play all A assists, as you can see. They enable her game plan a lot. So the biggest flaws with the character Android 21 is that she's pretty weak on defense. And another thing is that a lot of her mid to full screen control is key blast based, which leaves her open to, you know, people super dashing, and kind of the angles that she covers with like 2S and some of her other tools don't really cover approaches from the air, like aerial super dashes or like just, you know, super jump floats. They don't really cover those angles that well. So these 2 assists cover 2 of her very big main flaws, and that is she has bad defense. So Bardock assist, very fast, allows her to have a defensive assist. Like whenever you're in a scramble situation and you need a fast assist to get yourself out, you can press Bardock assist. It comes out fast, it cannot react, and it can get you a lot out of a lot of situations, or potentially get you your turn back. And there are plenty of other assists that enable this as well. So the assists that I believe worked best, like, I think you should always have a defensive assist whenever you're playing 21, just because, like I said, she's lacking in the defense department. But there's a lot of different types of defensive assists that can be run with her. So the strongest ones, in my opinion, the strongest defensive assists for 21 are Bardock. I think Yamcha is very strong for her as well. Yamcha is kind of like it's 2 layered as well, right? Like, because it's also very good in neutral, but it can also be called in defensive. We've all been defensive Yamcha called before. We've all been in a scramble next to a player that plays Yamcha, and they press the Yamcha assist, and then you get smoked because it comes out so fast, it goes pretty far. Or, you know, even if you block, it still has so much block stun that you're able to, you know, your opponent's able to take their turn back, and that's something that's very strong for 21, and not just 21 characters in general, but I think for her in particular, a defensive assist that is as reliable as these 2 assists, and also carry, like they cover a decent amount of the screen as well, because they go so far, and that's very valuable. Other assists that cover her on defense are DP assists. DP assists are, of course, very good in this game. Now with adult Gohan, there is the issue of both of them kind of want to be played mid. You know, Gohan doesn't want to be in on point for the most part, because you want to bring him in once he's leveled up. But DP assist, of course, his is the fastest in the game. and it allows her to call it defensively very, very well. Of course, the other DPs work as well. I don't even know where Teen Gohan is on the character select screen. Here he is. I've seen a lot of people play 21 Cooler as well. She has very, very easy conversions off of those assists as well. Like none of those are an issue. I am not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of 21 plus barrier, but I have seen it work. Shoutouts to Ichiran. Ichiran plays, actually a decent amount of people are playing the 1821 core. Nokami is playing this core. Like I said, Ichiran. There's a ton of other players that are playing this core currently as well. Kasuga. Now it's important to note that like Nokami he's not playing barrier assist, he's playing destructo disc assist. I do believe Kasuga is still playing barrier, and it can work, but barrier assists, of course, like you can't. It's not the same type of defensive assist as the ones I've named before, like the DPs or the the Bardock or the Yamcha. But you can mask a lot of things with barrier assist if you do choose to use it. You can mask command grabs. You can mask, of course, you can mask the standard dragon rushes. You can go for like crazy stagger game, call barrier, bait them into pressing a button and then full punish them. There's a lot of different things that you can do with barrier assist, but I think a lot of people are going to have a lot harder time utilizing it as opposed to the other assists that I've named. So for all intents and purposes, I don't think the barrier assist is the best for her, but I do think it is usable if you do want to play this core. This core is very, very good. I just think that if you're going to play 1821, it's probably better off running Destructo Disc on 18, but that's a whole nother conversation. So those assists that I've named, very, very strong defensive assists that allow her to, if she gets into a scramble or like any situation where she's like floating over her opponent or something, she can call this assist and kind of, steal a turn or get the, win scrambles that she normally would not be able to. And that's very, very strong for the character, because that's where she, like I said, that's where she tends to have the most fault. So those are the characters. Some of them are better point, some of them are better anchor. Like I said, like Bardock, Yamcha, Bardock great point character, Yamcha great anchor character. The DPs, all the DPs actually, like Cooler, you could play him point 21 mid, that's fine. Teen Gohan, you could play him point 21 mid. Adult Gohan, I think, is pretty hard. Like I think team building around Adult Gohan 21 is gonna be a little rough. But you could just play 21 anchor and then Adult Gohan mid and then pick a strong point character after that. So it's not that bad. There's a lot of different defensive assists that work with her. It's just a matter of trying them out and seeing like which ones you think really work with her. Another underrated defensive assist is actually hit. This character's assist is bonkers, and it was really good in season 2, and they buffed it to be even better in season 3. For those of you who don't know, Hit's assist has invul. It's not fully invul, but it does have invulnerability, and invulnerability, of course, is very, very good in those situations where you just want to call an assist and then block and see what happens. And if your opponent keeps pressing a button, then they get kicked by Hit into a full combo. And if they don't, then they get put in block stun, and then you get your turn again. So like this is another character that can go very, very well with her. The only problem that I have with Hit is that they both are like both Hit and 21 kind of play in the same, like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Hit's just a very odd character. I think a lot of people don't really know how to play Hit. Hit's a very peculiar character in terms of how you play him. So I think if you want to put the time in to play Hit, I think Hit 21 is very strong together for what it's worth. I'm just putting that out there. I do think that Hit 21 is a very, very strong core, but I think it's a core that takes more time to utilize at the same effectiveness as the other cores that I've named, if that makes sense. So now that we've covered the defensive assists, because I think those are the main assists that I wanted to go over in this first section, were the defensive assists. We're going to talk about the other type of assist that I think is best for her are the assists that enable her pattern in neutral. So for those of you who have never seen like a 21, like a high level 21 play, a lot of her gameplay revolves around like space control by using her long range tools, her 2S, her 3M, her M buttons in general, just kind of just controlling the opponent until they eventually make a mistake, and then you punish them for big damage. So there are characters that enable that pattern of neutral play much better than others. So first off, this guy. Beam is still, in my opinion, lateral beam, not GT beam. I think lateral beam is 21's best assist overall. It gives her extremely good space control. You can convert anywhere on the screen. It enables some of her highest damage combos because they're easy conversions in the corner. Beam assist is just really insane, even still in season 3. I know a lot of people have kind of shied away from beams, but I think that beam is still by far her best assist, and her neutral game gets enabled a ton when she has a beam behind her. And for what it's worth, Matoi's team, I think this team is still extremely strong. This is a team that I still play. This was my season 2 team, for those of you who don't know. There's still a ton of synergy with this team, and it's still so strong, that I think that even though, you know, people will always meme about SSJ Goku's, you know, 2M getting nerfed, we all feel the heart disease, the pain, but I still think this team is extremely strong, and I think SSJ is still a very good character to go with her, because one of the biggest problems that come along with the character as well is that she has low damage supers, right? So her level 1 does 792 low damage, and then her level 3 does 1521, which is pretty low damage for a level 3 as well. But Goku kind of solves that problem because he has the really high damage level 3, and he has a high damage level 1, so that definitely helps out in a lot of like making those breakpoints in terms of her combos, whether they're kills or not kills. And there's also generally a lot of setups that go along with SSJ Goku in particular in 21. So I think they're very good together. Of course, the other beams, the other lateral beams go well with her as well. Like, of course, you can play this guy. I don't recommend it. I don't think he's that great of a character personally. I know the YouTube commenters are gonna kill me, but I just don't think he's that strong. I think this guy is stronger for sure, but the thing about Trunks is that, so I think Trunks is like a really good partner for her, because both his A and B assist enable that neutral pattern that I was talking about. So we'll talk about how anti-air assists kind of work into that in a second, but Masenko, Trunks can definitely work. I also think that, of course, GT Beam, the overall best assist in the game, even still, goes very well with her. But it does have some flaws that I'll talk about here in a second. I'll actually go into a game and show you guys what I'm talking about in regards to GT assist. And GT assist, of course, is a beam that is also an anti-air. So that's the type of assist that we're gonna be talking about next, are the anti-air assists. So like I said, beams, just to close out on beams very good for her. Like actual beams, there's pseudo beams that can work well with her as well. Like I've seen some Zamasu 21 teams. I've seen Broly. There's been a lot of Broly 21 as well. Those can also go very well with her. But I think her strongest assist overall is the tried and true, just normal Kamehameha. Very strong tool for her. So the next type of assists that I believe enable her neutral game to the fullest are anti-air assists. And so this is multifaceted, because anti-air assists, like this guy, are just very good in the game of Dragon Ball FighterZ in general, because this game is played so airborne, and that's why I believe that GT assist is still, even now in season 3, the best assist in the game, because it covers an angle that your opponent likes to be in quite a lot. People love to be jumping up in that corner and just kind of waiting for their chance to super dash, or waiting for their chance to, you know, to just go in some way. And GT as well as other anti-air assists, like, stop you from doing that, and that's like extremely strong in this game. Now, I don't think that GT is the strongest anti-air assist for her in particular, but I do think 21 GT is still pretty good. Like it was good in season 2. It's still pretty good in season 3. She can make a lot happen with the assist, but like I said, I don't think it's as good as some of the other anti-air assists. So the other anti-air assists that I want to talk about are this guy, his A assist. I don't know why, but for some reason in season 3, you know, everyone freaked out over Trunks getting Masenko assist, when Change the Future is definitely still an insanely good assist, and it's extremely good for her in particular because it enables her to press 2S, call assist, and you know, if they got hit by the 2S, you just get a full conversion, and that happens from like nearly full screen because her buttons are so long, and it really makes her a threat. That zone control becomes a lot scarier whenever you have a giant Change the Future just covering the screen that also blows up their assists. Very strong tool for her, and like going hand in hand with Trunks assist, of course, would be the Frieza assist, which is on the team that I play, and I will show you guys. I'm actually going to go into a game to kind of show you guys what I mean about GT not being the best assist for her. Let's do this. Shout out to the PC, by the way. The loading times are pretty low, so. Alright, so as I was saying before, a lot of the time whenever you're mid to full screen with 21, you're going to be pressing this button, right? You're pressing this. You don't really want to be pressing this that much, but you can every now and then. But overall, this is her best tool. It's 2S'ing in neutral, moves her backwards, forces their opponent to come in, correct? I'm going to make them stop 2H'ing because it's annoying me, I'm sorry. Okay, so what Frieza assist does for her is no matter where she, pretty much like almost anywhere on the screen, if she presses this, she gets a full conversion. And if they block, you just go up and do your pressure as you normally would. And it also obscures the screen, so like whenever you're in the corner and you decide to go for like a mix-up or something, you can mask a lot of the stuff that she's doing with Frieza assist. And that's why I think Frieza assist is so strong for her, because it's not only an anti-air assist, so it'll stop the super dashes and all the things that people want to do to her in neutral, but it's also ground up, which is very important. So what I mean by that is if I'm here and I call Frieza assist, right, this still makes contact, right, even though I'm that far away. Whereas with GT assist, if I throw this, there's a chance that it can whiff depending on what range that I'm in, because it doesn't reach all the way up. So you see how I'm like back here, I'm calling GT, and it like doesn't make the contact that I want it to. I want them to get hit by the full beam so I can get my conversions and whatnot. And for that reason, that's why I don't think GT is her best anti-air assist, because it doesn't cover the ground up, and most of the time whenever you hit people with 2S, you're going to be hitting them while they're standing on the ground, while they're trying to move forward and call an assist. And with Frieza, I can always convert. Like always. I can always convert as long as my, as long as my inputs are correct and my reactions are good that day. Whereas GT, sometimes you'll get that awkward hit that I just showed you where they'll kind of get clipped by beam, but not really fully, it won't fully convert, and it kind of leaves you in an awkward situation. So that's why I think that Frieza is their best anti-air assist. And it's not only 2S, right? Like you can press JS and do the same thing. You can also press 5S and do the same thing. And all of them lead into full conversions, like pretty much anywhere on the screen. And that's why I think this is her strongest anti-air assist, and why I play Frieza on my team, as well as like I just really like Frieza as a character. But they go very well together because of this small fact that pretty much anywhere on the screen, if I press 2S Frieza assist, not only is it really safe, because 2S is just an extremely safe option to go for in neutral, but if I happen to catch you slipping, moving anywhere in the zone, then you get exploded, and then I get a combo into advantage, and that's very strong. Hopefully that made enough sense to you guys. And Trunks is kind of the same way. A little bit less so because he moves so far forward. So like if I'm back here and I'm throwing 2S, it's really hard for me to or nearly impossible for me to get a conversion here, right? Whereas with Frieza, I convert from that far. So these are all things that go hand in hand with Frieza being her best anti-air assist. So if you want to learn Frieza with her, it's very, very beneficial. In terms of what I was talking about with defensive assists as well, right? So what I mean is, so if we're in close quarters and my opponent is like not exactly on top of me, but we're just kind of posturing around in this range, I can call Bardock, and it's so fast that you just really cannot react, because it comes out in 20 frames. So it's just an extremely fast assist that you can call in scrambles, and has a good amount of hit stun, so you can convert off of like stray hits very easily. It also enables her to like super jump float over people. I call Bardock, it's my turn, whether they block or whether they eat the hit, right? So that's very, very, very strong to have in this game. So that's why Bardock and Yamcha are very, very strong for her. So since Bardock is such a strong point character and Frieza is a very, very good mid this season as well, I decided to play 21 Anchor on this particular team, and it has worked out very, very well for me. But like I said, all the assists that I talked about before, you'll want to take them into the lab, experiment with them, see what works for you. Some things to also consider are like what gives her access to like sliding knockdown as well. So like if you're playing an assist and you want to be able to DR from like mid screen, right? Since she doesn't have traditional sliding knockdown, an assist that allows her to do this is naturally very strong because it gives her the sliding knockdown if you decide to go that route without having to spend the bar. So like those are also things to consider. And you'll want to, like I said, you'll want to take the things into the lab, practice the combos, get a feel for, you know, practice them against people as well, get a feel for, you know, is this controlling the zones that I want to control as well as I want them to? And if they are, then you might have a really, really good 21 team or a 21 team that suits you. But I just wanted to give my insight on what I think her best assists are. Yeah, so just the last thing I want to talk about is the assists that kind of mask her grounded intentions. So let me take the steals off really quick. So one of the coolest things is if you're playing a low block stun assist. Not that one. I've had the wrong team. If you're playing this one, you can do stuff like that where you tick grab them with command grab. So you can even make low block stun assists really, really work out for her. Because a lot of the time they'll be too busy stargazing at the Trunks assist, and they'll get scooped by this as long as you don't grab too early, because if you do, then you'll be very sad. But kind of instilling that fear into your opponent of the command grab option is going to make them get really, really antsy on defense. And then once they get really antsy on defense, it opens up a lot of her really, really strong stagger games, and they start eating 2Ms and they start really, really exploding, and then they complain about the character on Reddit. So these are all things to consider whenever you're building around the team. I would love to hear in the comments like what characters you guys think go best with her. I think the characters that I've covered are all very, very strong for her. It's just a matter of what characters do you play, what's your preference. But yeah, just wanted to give insight on that. So that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode, we're going to be talking about the really, really fun stuff. I'm calling it the fun stuff episode. We're going to be calling it, we're going to be talking about advanced combos or setups, some steel stuff, some Oki stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff in that episode, but that's for next episode. In the meantime, please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I will see you guys in the next episode, which will be the final episode. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.